He carries the weight of the world on his shoulders, though no one sees it. Every morning, he dons the armor of responsibility, the polished mask of control, and the sharp edge of rationality. The world tells him to be strong, to be unwavering, to be the pillar everyone leans upon. And he does. He performs flawlessly, walks with purpose, speaks with authority. But beneath the surface, under the tailored suit, the measured voice, and the calm eyes, a storm simmers. A storm of longing, of desire, of a need he can scarcely name even to himself. Every choice, every thought, every action is dictated by a code he did not choose. Be responsible, be rational, be untouchable. And yet, in the quiet moments, when the sun dips low and shadows stretch across the room, he feels the chains pressing in. The suffocating weight of expectation gnaws at him, leaving him restless, yearning, achingly incomplete. He dreams of a world without rules, without roles, without restraint, a world where the pulse of desire runs free, and broken, unashamed. And then she appears, not with hesitation, not with quiet demureness, but with an energy that shatters the air around her, a presence that bends reality without effort. She is the siren, the embodiment of fantasy. Her movements are precise, calculated yet effortless, like a melody that winds through his nervous system and lingers in his bloodstream. Every step she takes is a promise. Every glance is an invitation. Every whisper is a caress that leaves him trembling in anticipation he cannot resist. She does not ask for attention. She commands it. She does not plead for desire. She evokes it. And he, with all his control, all his carefully maintained rationality, feels it slip from his grasp. His mind races, not with fear or confusion, but with a heady, exhilarating liberation he has never allowed himself to feel. She unlocks a part of him buried beneath years of expectation, a part that wants nothing but to surrender, to indulge, to drown in pure, unrestrained pleasure. Her allure is not just in her form, though she is exquisitely crafted, a sculpture come to life, curves and lines that tease and tempt with a subtle perfection, but in the way she inhabits herself. She moves as though the world exists only for her. And in that assertion, he finds himself powerless. He is drawn in, captivated, tethered to her orbit by a force stronger than reason, stronger than willpower. Each motion, each breath, each deliberate tilt of her head carries the weight of promise and danger intertwined. She is freedom incarnate, and he is both terrified and thrilled. The room changes when she enters. Shadows cling differently. The air thickens with tension, sweet and palpable. His heart pounds not from fear, but from anticipation, from the raw thrill of being noticed, desired, and undone all at once. His rational mind struggles, grasping for logic, for justification, for a way to retreat. But she is always one step ahead, reading the subtle signals, turning his defenses into playthings. She is not cruel, she is precise. She is not manipulative, she is mastery embodied. And he, for all his control, all his reason, finds himself unraveling. She whispers, just a hint, a sound that slides along his skin like silk. And in that whisper, he hears what he has longed to feel: release. Release from the constraints, the masks, the burdens. She offers no compromise. She offers no restraint. She offers the pure, unfiltered ecstasy of a world where he can abandon the weight of responsibility and immerse himself entirely in sensation. Time bends around her presence. Moments stretch, elongate, and pulse with tension and heat. Every inch of his being is alive, every nerve ending poised for a spark. His thoughts fragment, unable to compete with the torrent of sensation. She ignites with the subtlest gesture. She smiles not coyly, not shyly, but with a knowing, magnetic confidence that unravels him further. In her presence, he is not the man the world demands. He is not the provider, the protector, the thinker. He is not measured, rational, or in control. He is raw. He is exposed. He is craving. And she, with every glance, every motion, every whispered word, draws him deeper into a reality that exists solely for pleasure, solely for desire, solely for surrender. She is more than fantasy. She is revelation. She teaches him what it is to let go, to feel without filter, to inhabit desire with unapologetic abandon. And though he fears the depth, he cannot resist. For she is the siren, and he is hers, suspended in the delicious tension between control and chaos, duty and indulgence, reason and unquenchable yearning. The air hums with electricity the moment she enters his orbit. Every movement she makes is a calculated invitation. Yet it feels utterly spontaneous, natural, inevitable. Her presence does not merely fill a room, it transforms it. The mundane becomes charged. Ordinary walls pulse with potential. Every surface seems to echo with the subtle cadence of her footsteps. Every shadow flickers with the promise she carries. And he is caught, unable to move, unable to think, utterly suspended in the gravity of her allure. She is more than physical beauty, though that alone could undo a man. Her power lies in the mastery of herself, the exquisite control over the reaction she evokes. The curve of her lips, the tilt of her chin, the glint in her eyes, they are all instruments in a symphony of desire that he is forced to play, yet cannot resist. Each subtle glance is a spark, each smile, a fire. He is drawn to her not because she asks, but because she exists fully, and he cannot escape the pull. And in that pull, he finds freedom, a paradox he never anticipated. He, who spends every day constrained by rules, governed by expectations, shackled by duty, discovers a truth that terrifies and excites him. Surrender is liberation. In her presence, he is no longer burdened by responsibility or logic. His pulse quickens not from panic, but from the intoxicating thrill of being seen, wanted, desired without caveat. She knows the power she wields, not arrogantly, but with a natural ease born from understanding the essence of longing. She senses the subtle tension in his shoulders, the tiny twitch in his jaw, the quickening beat of his pulse, and with the most delicate gestures, a brush of her hand against his arm, a sigh that seems to travel directly into his ear, she unravels him further. He feels every nerve alight, every sense heightened, every instinct on edge. He is a man simultaneously in awe and submission, intoxicated and trembling, desperate yet utterly enthralled. Her world is a playground of pleasure, yet it is precise, deliberate, orchestrated. She teaches without speaking, seduces without forcing, entices without compromise. She is an enigma he longs to solve yet knows he cannot. And the tension, that delicious, unbearable tension, becomes a living thing between them, curling and twisting like smoke, intoxicating, inescapable. Every glance she casts carries weight, every word a hidden promise. When she moves, he follows, not consciously, not because he intends to, but because her energy bends him, pulls him, guides him. He is a marionette, and she the unseen hand. Yet he feels no indignity, only a thrill that ignites his very being. She is the ultimate release, the embodiment of desire he has repressed, denied, ignored for too long. In her presence, he experiences the paradox of surrender. Strength lies in letting go, and freedom lies in devotion. Every rational thought he clings to crumbles under the heat of her influence. He tries to resist, to reclaim control, to retreat into logic, but it is impossible. She has dismantled the barriers he built over a lifetime, replacing them with exquisite tension, anticipation, and longing. Her mastery extends beyond mere seduction. She reads him, sees him, understands him in ways that no other could. Every hidden desire, every secret fantasy, every unspoken craving surfaces at her touch. And in that exposure, he finds a strange ecstasy. He is both vulnerable and exhilarated, and done yet alive in ways he never imagined. She is a force, elemental, and tamed yet controlled, powerful yet effortless. Every interaction with her is an awakening, a revelation, a plunge into the deep, uncharted waters of passion. He becomes aware of his own limits, then exceeds them, discovers pleasures he had long buried beneath obligation, and revels in sensations that make the world outside her orbit feel gray, muted, and hollow. And yet, as intoxicating as her presence is, there is more. She does not merely seduce the body, she awakens the mind, the soul, the very essence of what it means to surrender. Every stolen glance, every fleeting touch, every unspoken word is a lesson, a seduction of both heart and instinct, a reminder of the latent, untapped desire that resides within every man who dares to dream of freedom from his constraints. In these moments, he glimpses the ultimate truth. The siren is not just a woman. She is a revelation, a storm, a living embodiment of fantasy and liberation. And he, powerless yet willingly captivated, realizes he will never see the world the same way again. Every step he takes after her presence lingers in his mind, Every memory of her ignites a hunger that logic cannot quell, and every desire she awakens whispers of pleasures yet to come. The siren teaches him that surrender is not weakness, it is the ultimate freedom. That indulgence is not sin, it is life, raw and unfiltered. That desire, when met with skill and understanding, can elevate a man beyond the mundane, beyond the ordinary, into a realm where sensation, passion, and longing are the only laws. And as the last spark of her presence lingers, he feels the thrill of anticipation. Something is coming, a new archetype, a new seduction, a new danger, and he knows, without doubt, it will be different. But for now, he basks in the afterglow, trembling, alive, and utterly undone by the one woman who has taught him that pleasure is power, and surrender is liberation. The world feels smaller, duller, muted in comparison to the intensity she brings. Every thought, every instinct, every hidden longing that he had, buried under years of discipline and responsibility, rises to the surface. Alive, demanding, insistent. In her presence, he feels every sensation amplified, his heartbeat a drum in his chest, his breath shallow and quick, his skin hyper-aware of the subtlest brush of air or fabric against him. She is not just a figure of desire. She is a force of nature, a storm that cannot be tamed. Yet he finds himself willingly drawn into the tempest. She moves with a rhythm that seems choreographed for him alone. Each step, each tilt of her head, each casual gesture orchestrating a dance that he cannot escape. His mind races, attempting to dissect, to rationalize, to understand. But logic falters under her gravity. She is the embodiment of temptation perfected, a living paradox, soft yet unyielding, gentle yet dominating, distant yet utterly intimate. And he is helpless against it, not because he lacks strength, but because the allure is irresistible, a siren song that seeps into his very bones. Her eyes hold him captive. They are pools of knowing, shimmering with secrets he has longed to explore, promises he has longed to experience. With a glance, she strips away layers of composure, of armor, of rational thought. He feels naked, not in shame, but in exhilaration, exposed and alive in ways he has never known. Each blink, each flicker of emotion, each subtle movement conveys a language that he instinctively understands, yet has never spoken. Her voice, when it reaches him, is velvet and fire intertwined. It does not merely speak. It caresses, it teases, it ignites. Every word is a brush against his consciousness, drawing him deeper into the heat, the tension, the delicious uncertainty of surrender. He finds himself hanging on every syllable, craving the next, and simultaneously fearing its absence. Her laughter is a weapon, sweet and dangerous, slicing through his defenses, leaving him raw, eager, and exposed. She challenges him without confrontation, seduces him without effort, teaches him without words. Her presence is both a revelation and a torment, a constant reminder of the pleasures that lie just beyond reach, the ecstasy that comes from anticipation and denial, the thrill of a game played with stakes higher than mere desire. He is consumed by her, yet in that consumption, he discovers the liberation of letting go, the dizzying exhilaration of living entirely in the moment, untethered from duty, expectation, and control. Every touch, whether deliberate or accidental, sparks fires in places he thought long dormant. A casual brush of her fingers across the table, a whisper of her hair along his shoulder, a fleeting gaze from across the room. Each ignites a tension that coils and uncoils. Like a live wire, his body responds before his mind does. Instincts override reason. Every rational thought he clings to is gradually dissolved by the heat of her presence, leaving him open, vulnerable, and achingly alive. She exists in contradictions he cannot resolve. She is untouchable yet intimate, fleeting yet eternal, dominating yet inviting. And he, caught in the pull of this paradox, finds himself drawn closer, willing to surrender to the rhythm she sets. Desire becomes a language they speak without words, a silent, intoxicating dialogue of movement, gaze, and breath. The air between them vibrates with tension, charged and alive, each moment a carefully crafted crescendo of anticipation. In this suspended world, pleasure is not just an act, it is an experience, a revelation, a lesson. He begins to understand that desire is more than physical. It is emotional, psychological, spiritual even. Every suppressed fantasy, every secret longing he has hidden from the world, surfaces under her gaze, each met with subtle encouragement, each nurtured into a revelation of self. She teaches him to inhabit his own passion fully, unapologetically, without guilt or restraint. And yet, just as the tension peaks, there is a promise of more shadow of anticipation for what lies beyond her, for the next chapter of seduction waiting just out of reach. She leaves a trail of heightened senses, quickened pulse, and the undeniable knowledge that life, without surrender to desire, is a life half-lived. The siren is not merely a figure. She is a storm, an awakening, a masterclass in indulgence. And he, ensnared yet willing, trembles at the edge of ecstasy, longing for every next moment, every next encounter, every next breath that will pull him further into the intoxicating world she commands. As the night deepens, the air between them grows heavy with expectation, a pulse that cannot be ignored. Every glance she casts, every subtle movement, every whispered nuance stretches time, bending reality around him. He is no longer the man who walked into this room hours ago, the stoic, restrained, responsible man. He is raw, exposed, trembling with anticipation, alive in ways he had long forgotten. Each heartbeat is a drum marking the rhythm she dictates, each breath a tribute to her mastery over desire and surrender. She is everywhere at once, impossible to escape, yet impossible to resist. Her presence saturates his senses, floods his mind, ignites every nerve with a tension that coils tighter with each passing second. His rationality has long fled, dissolved under the intoxicating gravity of her power. She is not cruel, not manipulative, not deceitful. She is something far more potent, a living embodiment of the fantasy he has denied himself, a force of unrelenting allure that demands surrender, that rewards it with pleasures he could never have imagined. The curve of her lips, the subtle tilt of her chin, the glimmer in her eyes, they are instruments of a seduction that transcends the physical. He feels her in every molecule of air, in every shadow that dances across the room, in every subtle vibration of his own body responding to her. She is a symphony composed for him alone, and he is compelled to follow every note, every cadence, every rhythm with absolute devotion. And yet, it is not just her body that ensnares him, nor the brilliance of her mind alone. It is the confidence, the control, the way she inhabits herself fully and unapologetically. She is complete, and in that completeness, he finds both terror and ecstasy. She teaches him that true power is not in force or command but in presence, in mastery of self, in the ability to awaken desire without effort, to bend reality with the subtle arc of a glance or the delicate brush of a finger. Time stretches, contracts, becomes irrelevant. Moments are no longer measured by clocks but by the tremor in his chest, the heat pooling beneath his skin, the trembling anticipation of her next move. Every touch, every whisper, every smile is a masterstroke of seduction, a lesson in indulgence, a call to abandon all restraint. And he answers, willingly, with every fiber of his being, because to resist is impossible, and to surrender is liberation. She has awakened something primal, something raw and undeniable, buried beneath years of rationality and duty. He feels it in his bones, in the quickened pulse of his veins, in the shiver that races across his spine. The siren is not merely a woman. She is the embodiment of every secret longing, every fantasy he has locked away, every pleasure he has denied himself. She is a revelation, and he is utterly undone. As the encounter reaches its zenith, he realizes that this is more than desire, it is transformation. In her orbit, he is free of responsibility, free of control, free of expectation. He exists purely for sensation, for ecstasy, for the exquisite agony and delight of surrendering to a force that is greater than himself. And even as the encounter begins to fade, even as the heat lingers like a whisper in the empty room, he knows that the effect is permanent. She has altered the very way he will experience pleasure, the very way he will approach desire, the very way he will live. And then, as if sensing the shift, a new energy begins to stir, a promise of something different, yet equally intoxicating. The next archetype, the next seduction, the next wave of irresistible allure is approaching. He feels it in the back of his mind, a shadow of anticipation, a spark of curiosity, a flutter of expectation. The rake is coming, but for now, he remains in the afterglow, suspended between reality and fantasy, trembling with the memory of every touch, every glance, every sigh she has inspired. The siren's power lingers, indelible and undeniable, a testament to the liberation found in surrender. the ecstasy discovered in indulgence, and the transformative force of desire fully realized. And as he exhales, trembling and alive, he understands. She is not merely a woman. She is the ultimate fantasy, the ultimate release, the ultimate lesson in the intoxicating art of seduction.